Hey everybody! Hey. I wasn't gonna necessarily go live about this today, but it's like as soon as I get AJ down to bed, I feel like I have to talk about, of course, my meditations. I posted about it a little bit on my personal page this morning, just a quote that followed my meditation this morning. And so I just wanted to share a little bit more about myself. I've thought about this a lot today about do I share? It's a little deeper. And today was kind of a off day for us. AJ, we had a snow day yesterday, and he's got an ear infection, so he doesn't feel awesome, but I only get 9 hours a week away from him, basically, and 3 of those hours were taken away from me yesterday, so we just had a little bit of a rough day. And we had a nice talk when I put him down to bed tonight, and talked about how we need to work together and all that kind of stuff. But so for a part of the day, I wasn't really feeling up to going live to talk about this. But anyways, oftentimes what I tell people is, in order to be the best for yourself or for everybody else, you have to be the best for yourself first. And talk about personal development and talk about growth and talk about this and that. And for me, I think the reason why I'm so passionate about all of this is because I didn't allow myself to feel for a really long time. And it's not that I had a terrible life and upbringing, or of course there were bad things that happened in my life, and there's bad things that happen in everybody's life, but I think that I just always was a person that I needed to stay busy. I'm not sure if it was that I didn't like to be alone in my adult years, or I'm not really sure what the issue was. I'm not really sure how it happened that I ended up to be a pretty big drinker. And for a really long time I think I was disappointed in myself because I should have went to college right away, and I would have had the means to go to college right away. And I think there was a lot of guilt for myself, and I made a lot of bad decisions. I didn't always do the best things, and I never got in big trouble or anything like that, but I have some things that I'm not proud of. And so I think for a long time, even though I was doing a lot of the things that I should have been doing to better myself, there were a lot of things that I wasn't doing. And I kind of talked about that a little bit yesterday with the personal development thing. Is it's almost like I was afraid to do personal development. And actually, when I started doing personal development, I would be on team I would be on team calls with my team, and I would be in tears. And it was not funny, but people were just kind of wow, the people that know me, because I'm not a crier, and I'm tough, and I never really showed emotion like that. I mean, people that know me really, really, really well have seen me break down, here and there and stuff. But, for the most part, a lot of, or most of my life, I just held things in, and I didn't allow myself to get hurt or feel hurt, or, whatever the case is. And that really held me back for a really long time. So anyways, the meditation today was talking about home, meaning finding home within yourself, meaning finding an inner peace with yourself. And I think it's just so super important, and it's very hard. I think, like I said a minute ago, it's I always was on the go. I always had plans. I never, ever, just stayed home. It was always important to go out to dinner, and to go to this birthday, and to do that, and to go out on Friday and Saturday night, and just to always be busy. Because I feel then obviously when I was home, I maybe started thinking about things, or I'm not really sure, but most of my growth started when I moved out to Virginia. So over 5 years ago, I moved to Virginia, and when I moved here, Chad deployed, right? And so I moved here. I was 32 years old. I had never left Wisconsin. I have amazing people in my life. I have this circle, this support system, my family, everything that I ever knew, I left. And when I got here, he deployed, and then he came back and we got married, and then he deployed, and then then I got pregnant, and then he deployed, and then we had AJ, and that's when he stayed. And so we didn't really get to know each other, like as far as like when people get to know each other living together, until we had a kid. And so we've had a lot of ups and downs, unfortunately. And I talk about it and whatnot, but now that he's deployed again, these are things that we are growing stronger with. So years ago, when I was kind of upset, like that I moved here and then he had to deploy, and then we got married and he had to deploy. I mean, I understand that that's his job, but at the time I was kind of like, well, that's a bummer, you know what I mean? But what I realized is it was a blessing in disguise, because I had to like sit with myself and face myself. And, we had friends here and stuff like that, but I started to grow out of that needing to go out and keep myself occupied all of the time. And I think that's when I really started to do a lot of soul searching. And, it was hard at times. And I sat there with my dog and cried myself to sleep. And I don't even think anybody really knows that. But when I was doing that meditation this morning, it really all came back to me. And it was very powerful. It's very powerful to know that I've been allowing myself through these past 5 years to grow internally, because I think people get in a habit of years and years and years and years and years of doing things or handling things a certain way, and it's very, very, very hard to change that, right? So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys a little bit. It's just a little more personal, I guess, and a little more deep. A lot of people just think or assume like, oh man, she just really got her stuff together. And, I do more than I ever have, for sure. But there's also struggles, and there's also hard times, and there's the need for me to be better every single day has to do with the fact that directly for years and years and years and years, I didn't put myself first. It's like I didn't put up with a lot of fluff, if you will, but at the same time, I didn't always do what was best for me. And so, I don't know, it's just a good realization. The other thing is, it was talking about like home, meaning being grounded in yourself. But, when I first moved here, home was Wisconsin. And even after we got married, like, no, we're going to go back home one day, like, meaning we're going to move back there. And then when I was pregnant, it was, I'm not going to raise my son without my family. Like, we grew up with our cousins, and, that's what we're going to do with him. And now, this is home. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm at peace with myself internally. So whether or not you're at home, whether or not you're far away from home, whether or not you're at peace with yourself, I think a lot of being at peace with myself also took me to be at peace with other people in my life, or people that maybe I had a grudge against, or things like that. I think in order to this isn't a process that's going to happen overnight. Like, none of it is. It's a all around deal where when you work on yourself, there's just so many different areas that there's so many different layers, and there's so many different things that you have to get through mentally. And luckily, this journey with my coaching has just changed my life immensely, because I am so good at helping other people. I'm so good at helping other people see their worth, and so good at helping other people see how strong they are, and helping other people know how much they deserve and how great they should be treated, and all of those things. And so it's something that just kind of started happening with myself too. So anyways, I hope that that's helpful. And I don't know, it just was really deep for me today. I've really been thinking about it a lot, so I decided, why not go live about it again? It's like truth bomb, March mojo, get your mojo back. It's been great to have so many responses from so many people. So anyways, thanks for listening to me go on and on and on for a number of days in a row here. But I hope you have a good night, and go Bucky.